to deal with the Russians because they liked the treasure that his mother brought back. His mother took him and as much treasure as she could. He called it treasure throughout the conversation. And she felt it was worth $1 billion. And back then, in 43, $1 billion was unheard of amount of money. But the Russians liked the type of things that Trump's mother liked, like crowns and jewel encrusted, daggers and emblems and things like that. The Russians really liked that, so she could get top dollar for that to fence those types of treasure. And her connection with the Russian mafia went all the way back to when she was a girlfriend in the SS and Hitler's girlfriend. And she had a lot of connections in organized crime. And so she had decided that she wanted to continue the breeding program, and she had heard that the United States was founded by people who wanted to continue the breeding program. And they chose the United States because there were natives there who had dark skin, so they would be allowed, by their scripture, they would be allowed to enslave those people. And so they could continue their breeding program and have slaves. And that is why Trump his campaign was Make America Great Again. Now, America never did get to the point where it was a breeding ground for white people. It seems like it did. But then, according to Trump, this is great, they never should have allowed black people to come here as slaves. You didn't know that, did you? The black people came here as slaves on their own. They had, and I said, well, then how did they get here? And he said, well, there were boats. I said, no, there weren't. There were slave ships. They were called slave ships. And he was like, don't you talk to me like that. I'll kill you. I'll have you killed right here. I don't care. I don't care. And Rita was behind him saying, no, you won't. Not if you want to get out of here alive, you won't. So this went on. And he said, Trump said that they spent a lot of that. Well, so Ava got, through her connections with the underground, she got herself and Donald a birth certificate. And that said that they were born in the United States, so that she wouldn't have to go through a background check when she got here. This is how Donald knows that people can get here without a background check. He also knows that because he does that. He imports people who are in organized crime and killers. He does that himself, and then he gets them a green card and puts them to work. He bought a gun shop for the one guy who he called, I think, Jose, who sold the gun to the people in San Bernardino, and so that they could, and then Trump's people used those people as patsies for when they put on masks and went and shot everybody in San Bernardino. Then they went and they had cops go and kill the people who bought the guns, and they were Muslims or from the Middle East, and the cops never, he probably paid a couple $1 million, but the cops never investigated any further. Yep, they bought guns from this guy who, his name is Jose, but he's from the Middle East. Trump renamed him, and got him the job and got him the gun shop just for that. So these plans of keeping Muslims out of the country is something that Trump's mother was working on up until the day she died, and then he continued her work, and continued his route to the White House, and he also hired people, of course, who faked the vote. So that when he says "Make America Great Again," he wants to make America white again. And how do you do that? Well, you get rid of the black people in the country. He wasn't even born in this country, so the black people in this country have 200 and 300 years worth of generations of ancestors born in this country, whereas he was born in Germany, so he has no ancestors born in this country. He's the one who should go back to where he came from. But no, he wants to get rid of the black. You said anybody darker than me, I'm going to get rid of them all. And he said he's going to build up the military with nuclear weapons so that he can just blow the rest of the world, off the face of the earth. Anybody in the whole Middle East he wants to get rid of. He thinks he'll leave China, and he doesn't know about South America, and he will blow up Africa and get rid of all the people, because everybody should be white, because you want to be as far away from God as you can. And that's his breeding program. It's exactly the same as Hitler's. He's going about it differently. If you notice, there was, like I said, that rule in the South now that if you are arrested, the cops can come and confiscate your possessions, which is ludicrous, and that's why he would have had that put into place. Now, he probably did know more about politics than I did at the point where he hired me to talk to him about running for president back in 2003. And he was telling me he was going to have a hit list, and there's like 3,000 people on the hit list or more. I am number one. We're number one. He just is going to, and his plan to fix the inner cities is to blow them up, drop a bomb. That's his plan. Oh, I have a plan. I'll do it. I'm gonna do it. Only I can do it. Well, because only he is crazy enough to do it. And the wall, I'm going to have Mexico pay for it. If Donald Trump says you got to pay for it, then you're going to pay for it. And I'm like, I don't know about that, Donald. But he did go into very many stories about how when people didn't do what he wanted, he killed them. But I told him, no, you can't run the country that way. And he was like, yeah, you watch me. I will. And people will love me. They'll love me. They'll respect me. No, Donald, no. What I tried to impress on him, and he's going to be really pissed at this, is that his mother was completely insane. His mother used to torture him. He never went to school. His mother kept him at home. He was her little sex toy, and she also would torture him. She didn't really teach him anything other than how to look presidential. She was supposed to be homeschooling him, but the reason why he doesn't know anything is because she wasn't. And then when he came to me, he said he graduated from a certain business school, and what did I think about that school? And I said, I don't know, I never had heard about it. And he said, well then, what school should I say I'm from? And I said, well, whatever one you graduated from. He said, I've never been to school. It's cheaper to buy a diploma than to go to the school. So why go to the school? And I pointed out to learn things is why people go. No, I don't need to learn anything. I'll hire all the best people, and I won't have to know anything. So I said, well, Harvard Business School is supposed to be a good one. And so he said, that's what I'll do. I'll say I went to Harvard. Now, did anybody ever check into that? He didn't go to Harvard. 2003, he decides he's going to say he went to Harvard, and nobody can prove that. Hey, there should be other people around his age. Now, when I went on my infamous date where he raped me, I was 14 or 15, and he was 28. So he was 14 years older than me, maybe 13 years older than me, and now I'm 64. He should be 77. So, anyway. But let's say he was going by the reason why he's so much older is because when the people made up a birth certificate for him and his mother to come to the United States to show that he was an American citizen, she didn't specify, and he was probably, like, let's say 4 years old when he got here, and the birth certificate said he was an infant. He was a newborn. He had just been born. So when anybody would question that on her way in, she would open up her trunk that was filled with the jewels from the dead Jews, and hand out, jewels and pieces of gold and things, and then they would look the other way and let her in. Because who would think a blonde woman with her little blonde boy are coming to continue Hitler's work? I don't know. I wouldn't think it. So that's about it. So good luck with the training and the Muslim ban and killing the black